I'm not gonna talk now. You've got a schedule and an agenda, and you'll hear much more from me and Ms. Thomas later on. So I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Coleman, and she's gonna get us started.
Thank you. Well, good morning. I get to do two things this morning. The first is one of my favorite things, and that is I get to come to you and speak on behalf of my role as the chaplain for the college. And so I want to take the opportunity just to share one verse of scripture with you and just a few thoughts about what that scripture means and hopefully how it can apply to you today and as you move into your program of study with us. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, in verse 20, this is what the scripture says. Whoever gives heed to instruction prospers, and blessed is he who trusts in the Lord. Now, there's the pronoun he there, but it's he or she. It is talking about both genders there. And what the scripture is saying is, if you will pay attention to the instruction that you are given, then that is what will lead you to success. If you will then also trust in the Lord, that is what will guide you down the path and lead you to success. Now, that is the wisdom that came from King Solomon, and he was sharing that for the benefit of the readers. We can apply that very specifically to your situation right now, because today is a full day for you. I looked at your schedule, and you're going to be here till 4 o'clock, and you're going to get a lot of information. Orientation days are like that. So you're going to leave here today probably with a little bit of information overload. And then you're going to come back on August the 22nd, and you're going to start your classes. And every day that you come to campus, you're going to be loaded with information. You're going to get instruction. You're going to be told what to do, when to do it, how to do it. Sometimes you're not going to understand why you have to do the things that you do. Sometimes you're going to disagree with the way that you've got to do the things that you got to do. There are going to be times whenever you're going to want to push back a little bit. When those times come, and today especially, I just want to draw you back to Proverbs 16:20. Whoever heeds instruction prospers, and he who trusts in the Lord will be blessed. So set your direction on the path that God has laid before you, and receive everything that you've got coming to you today. Trust in the Lord when it doesn't make sense and when you don't know what else to do. Just keep moving forward in the direction that He told you. Because the last thing that He told you that you're really certain you're supposed to be doing is what you need to continue doing. So when you find yourself at those moments when you don't know what the right answer is or what you should do, or maybe there's several options, just keep doing what you know you were called to do. And keep moving in that direction, because that's what will bring you success, and that's what God will bless in your life. So join with me for just a moment, and I would like to offer a prayer on your behalf. Father, this morning we are grateful for the day. It is a gift that you've given us. We want to celebrate, rejoice, and be glad in that today. I thank you for these students and the one who is caught in traffic and still on the way. Father, I pray that you would bless them beyond what they can ask, imagine, or think, and that you would give them minds to comprehend all the information that they are going to receive today. Lord, I also pray that you would help them make sense out of information, out of their coursework as they move into that. They move into skills and clinicals. Father, just bless them and give them understanding and powers of comprehension. Today, I ask that you would continue to provide for all their needs, if it's financial, if it's child care, if it's work schedules, if it's family obligations and responsibilities. Whatever their needs are, I pray that you would work those things out for their good and ultimately to glorify you, but that you will prepare them and bring them back ready to begin class in a couple of weeks, moving forward on the path that you have laid before them. So we thank you for that, and we ask you to bless us today in the powerful name of Jesus. Amen. Okay. Number 2 on my part of my orientation for you is to talk to you about my role here on campus and how I can advocate for you. So there's my name, it's going to be floating up there. And in just a few seconds, there's a screen that's going to come up and tell you the different things that I do and the different roles that I play here on campus. So I am the academic and spiritual counselor. That's my title. But that means I provide academic counseling for students. I also do personal and behavioral counseling whenever that is needed or beneficial. I serve as the chaplain on campus for all faculty, staff, and students. I'm the individual that's responsible for our disability services. Talk about that in just a few more minutes. And then I have a resource that I want to share with you in regards to student insurance, and also talk to you about an event that we do on campus that's referred to as our student chapel service. So those are 6 areas that I can provide resources, support, and assistance to you. Let me go through those one at a time and talk a little bit in more detail so that you'll know how I can help you and how I can advocate for you while you're with us for the next 2 years. In the role of academic counselor, I don't serve as your, what is it called? Advisee. I'm not your advisor. Dr. James and Mrs. Thomas, they are your advisors. They are the experts in the field. They know the information. However, there may be times where you need a little more help in test taking. Maybe you have some struggles with test anxiety and you need to learn some strategies to overcome that. It might be that there are instructor-related issues. There might be little personality problems that you have with either one of your faculty or maybe one of the clinical site coordinators that you deal with. If any of those kind of things occur, then I can provide support and be a backup or an assistant to what they will already provide you. So keep that in mind if that becomes a need for you. The second area that I want to talk to you about is that of personal behavioral counseling. I am not a licensed professional counselor. I want to make sure that that's real clear. I do not have the training or education for that. I am trained and have education in pastoral counseling. So I've been in vocational ministry for over 30 years now, and I've gotten the education, gotten the experience, gotten the clinical pastoral education experience to provide pastoral counseling. So that is something that I can do if you have a crisis in your life, something unexpected happens, things aren't going quite the way you need for them to or want for them to, and you just need someone to listen to you, a safe place where you can talk about things. That's what I can provide for you. If your needs are greater than that, I have resources that I can refer you to and pass you on to someone who is more qualified if your needs are greater than that. But keep in mind that sometimes all you really need is talk therapy, and that's the strategy that I use primarily and offer to students. In conjunction with that role as in counseling, I also serve as the chaplain. So sometimes the needs are mental health type kind of needs, but sometimes your need in counseling might be more spiritual, or maybe you have some questions about things in the Christian faith or in the Christian doctrine or in the Christian scriptures. Maybe you want to talk about beliefs and how they differ, or maybe you have heard something at your church and you just don't understand it and you would like somebody to help explain that to you more. Maybe you just need somebody to pray with you. That's part of the role that I play here as well. And I welcome and invite all those conversations. So anytime you need or want to have a spiritual conversation, or you need a spiritual confidant, or you need or want someone to pray for you because things are stressful or you got a big test, please feel free to come by my office. I issue that invitation to students all across campus, and I have students that take me up on that. So it's not uncommon, especially for those nursing students who are on that end of the building where my office is. The morning of a big test, and they're walking by my door, they'll come in. Can you pray with me? Will you pray for me? And I enjoy doing that, and will offer that to you as well. There is a project that I have started in the last couple of years, and right now it's been primarily targeted toward nursing students. That's where it started. but I'm trying to expand it to all of the programs on campus. And it's called Project Scrubs. It's essentially a way to take used scrubs that you might not use after you finish this program and recycle them and allow students who are coming up behind you who are in financial need a free pair of scrubs. So, at the end of your program, if you find you don't need these lovely red scrubs anymore, if wherever you're going to work they don't require you to wear red, I will welcome those donations and then make those available to other OTA students who are going to come up behind you. Right now, all I have really are the blue scrubs that the nursing students wear. They're blue and whites, and I have like 1 or 2 pair of black scrubs that some of the lab programs wear. So just know that that's something that I've been working on and would welcome any donation that you might like to offer there. All right, let's talk about disability services for a moment. If this is a need of yours, you are probably already aware of that. And we've had a conversation about what is involved. But in my role as the Disability Services Coordinator, what I do is help advocate for students who have a learning disability and have a documentation to support that, showing that they require some kind of classroom accommodation. And we do this for students in all of our programs. Typically, it is with testing issues, and we provide extended time in either a small group or a private testing location. Those are the typical accommodations that we offer. However, we've done lots of different kinds of accommodations depending on what the need is. There have been some students with physical conditions that we needed to accommodate. There have been students who had psychological conditions that required a different kind of accommodation. So my point is, if there is a need in your life and there is a legitimate, you can show that there's documentation to legitimize that, then come and see me and I'll have you fill out an application for accommodations. We'll talk through what your needs are, and if there's anything that might be a potential issue for you, either in the classroom or in skills lab or in the clinical setting, then let me know and we will work together with your program director to accommodate whatever your needs are. Our goal is to make everything a level playing field for students. So if you've got a need that can be accommodated, we want to level that part of the playing field so that you are functioning at your best and you have every opportunity to be successful just like every other student. All right, the next item that I want to share with you is a resource. So if you might want to write this down. If you do not have if you do not have health insurance right now, this is a student health policy where it's a resource that can help you get connected to a health policy that benefits students. So the Eaton Agency is a local insurance agency in North Little Rock. There's their address and their phone number. I have had contact with 2 of their agents, Lori and Patrick, and they are willing to help students get signed up for what is essentially the Medicaid option in the Affordable Care Act. So if you do not have health insurance right now on yourself, I strongly encourage you to look into getting this. You have to make, I think it's less than $16,000 a year. That number may not be accurate, but there is a income level that you have to qualify below. So if you do that, if you qualify, then they can walk you through the steps to get you through the government website and get all the application filled out and get you in a position where if you have a health emergency, then you've got some insurance to help take care of that. In the next 2 years, we don't know what's going to happen, and God forbid anything serious should occur with anybody. But you want to be prepared in case something like that does. So if you're sitting here without insurance, I strongly encourage you to pursue that, look into it, and see how that might benefit you in case the need comes up in the next couple of years. But if you've got insurance, then praise the Lord. That's great, and I'm very happy for you. All right, the last thing that I want to share with you is our Student Chapel service, information about that. Student Chapel is a service that we provide 3 times a semester, and the next We've already had our first one for this semester. It was in July. The next one is going to be on Monday, September the 12th. You might want to write that date down too. Monday, September the 12th. I'll send an email to all students about a week and a half before, so you'll get that email in the next 2 weeks. But I want you to be aware that this is a service that is available for you. It's at 9:45 in the mornings, and every student who is on campus during that time, and I've already checked your schedules, you will be on campus at that time. You are all invited and will be given a 15-minute educational break to attend chapel if you would like to do that. So from where your classroom is, it's just kind of around the corner, the chapel is, and we will meet in there for 15 minutes. It is a service that is led by students for students. However, we have faculty, we have staff, we have students, we have a variety of people that come and attend. And depending on what time of the year is, it's usually somewhere between 75 and 100 students that come and are a part of that. So on September the 12th at 9:45, you'll be given a 15-minute break, and I encourage you to come and participate in that. I know, as the chaplain, that you are more than just your intellectual being, and that when you come to campus, you bring more than just your need to understand the concepts of being an occupational therapy assistant. You're bringing relationship issues with you, you're bringing emotional issues with you, you're bringing psychological, mental, and spiritual issues with you. So because of that, this is a way that we can provide holistic care to you. I know I have to do that because I'm still talking. We can provide holistic care to you by meeting your spiritual needs. So I want to invite you to be a part of that. And if any of you sing or play an instrument or don't mind praying or speaking in public, please come and see me. I would love for you to be a part of our leadership and participate in that way. All right, you have any questions about any of that? I know it was a lot and I went pretty quick. But I want you to know I am your advocate on campus. That's the main thing I do. And I'm glad to meet you. Next fall, I will have you in class when you take spiritual perspectives in healthcare. So I will look forward to that opportunity. In the meantime, I look forward to seeing you around and being available to you as you need me. All right. Rita, are you next?
I'm next.
Well, your next speaker is Miss Rita Reed, and she is our campus librarian. So Rita's going to come up and talk to you about what she can do for you in the field of research. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. Are you Samantha? This is your badge. I don't know if you get anything. Is there a welcome packet that she needs to get?
There's cameras.
And Kathy, of course.
Good morning. I'm going to start here. We're small enough that I think you can hear me just fine. Thank you. My name is Rita Reed, and I'm the Baptist Health Systems Medical Librarian. Finally, we're located here at the school. We used to be at the hospital, but I'm through the schools. However, I work for the entire Baptist system throughout the state. My main focus is to be for the students, and that's why I wanted to relocate here, because I feel like I can do more for the students if I'm here. And what I do for the physicians and nurses throughout the system, I can do mostly electronically. I can do a lot for you electronically, and we're going to talk about those things. Again, my name is Rita Reed. Right now, we're temporarily located in office 1504, which is on the far side, the next door from the cantina. We are in an office. I have an assistant, a half-time assistant, Maggie Speck-Kern. And so we're a little bit limited in our size, but we can help you. I'm getting 2 student computers that if you need to do some research, you can come in there and we'll show you how. If you need to search for articles for your papers that you have to do or any research that you have to do, we'll teach you how to do searching the databases. We do subscribe to several databases that you'll find helpful. We also subscribe to print and electronic journals and books. Several occupational therapy journals are available for you, and most of them are available electronically. Most of our print is in storage at this point, so if I can't get it for you through print or through what I have, I also have interlibrary loan services, 2 different services that I can ask other libraries throughout the world to share with us. So if you need something, don't pay for it. You know, sometimes they'll show up, sure, we'll let you have access to this article for a mere $85. Don't do it. You come to us first and let us see. We're a free share, so we will try to get it free share. If I can't get that particular article, I'll do my best to get an article very similar to it. So don't forget about us and let us help you. Don't go through your school life thinking, I need some help. We're there to help you, so come in and let us work with you. Again, it's kind of tight quarters, so you may need to call first to schedule a time. Our phone number is 202-2671. Maggie or I will answer the phone, and we'll just let you know if this is a good time to come, or if you have a better time, just schedule it with us, and that way we can, we won't have anything else going on. One of us can work with you individually. Let me tell you a little bit about some of the databases that we subscribe to. There's EBSCO, Host, and Ovid, which are both good databases to give you access to both books and journals. We also have access to UpToDate and Dynamed, which are both evidence-based databases. And you can access most of these through your Moodle. When you go on Moodle, just go into the library. You should be already registered as a student in the library. However, you cannot get UpToDate or Dynamed. But if you'll come to the office, then we'll help you get what you need from there. We also have access to Clinical Key for Nursing, which would be a good, they have a lot of journals and a lot of articles, plus some good reference pages and even some patient education pages. So if you need help with anything, don't forget where we are, okay? Do you have any questions? I appreciate you and I welcome you, and just let us help you make your life a little bit easier. Thank you.
Exciting looking group. Bright, smiling faces. So excited to be here to learn. You know, they are. Hey, I'm John May. I work in infection control at Baptist Health. So I'm here to talk to you about some stuff about how to take care of your patients and not get sick from them, and also how to not infect them from things you do. If you take one and pass those around, and we'll start back to review. You'll take. Oh, y'all don't like each other? I mean, yeah, can't you do any better than that? It's really attractive. All right, now. So, what have y'all had so far? You've had, what have they talked to you about so far? Anybody know? Talked about the library. What? Oh, yeah, okay. I always do that before I speak. Counterbalance, without get out of it. Very good. And I'm sorry, I have to log in and find this stuff. No switches, yeah, got it.
stack over the second one.
Where's
The second?
Oh, whoops.
We thought that it was the same thing.
Oh,
We didn't get that.
no, we did not get that.
I think that one's gone.
I go over this one.
Yeah, so the first test is, since I'm passing things in different directions, can you do that? So,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, are you?
so how many of you have worked in healthcare before? So about half. So Ms. Brenna. Brenna.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did you do? Where did you work?
Well, I worked as a nurse technician in the emergency room.
Uh-huh.
And then I work at the hospital now, but in the administration office, so.
Yeah,
Not really.
yeah. It's probably more dangerous in there than it is. Anybody else? Where'd you work?
I've worked in pharmacy.
Oh, yeah, okay. So you've worked in a very high-risk area already, and you've worked at an area that has to be very clean, but, you know, the risk to you is almost nothing. The risk to the patient is incredibly high if you do something wrong. So what we're going to talk about, just really briefly, are some of the really, bird's eye view of some risks that you would encounter in healthcare. And any profession that you go into, there's going to be risk benefit. There's going to be things you need to be concerned about. If you work at Sonic, you worry about somebody robbing you for your chips. I mean, really? Or, everything you do in life has certain risk. So, and healthcare is no different. I can tell you that we don't have employees getting sick from infected patients, although we take care of infected patients all the time. At any one time at our hospitals, about 10% of our patients are on some sort of isolation precautions because of an infection they have. So that's 1 out of 10. And some of the others have infections we don't know about. So we're going to, basically talk about what some of those type of infections are, what you can do on a routine basis to protect yourself. So it's just not a deal to you. Okay. So that's kind of the background of this. And let's look at the age group. Again, one of my many children is actually 19. He draws blood in the laboratory at Little Rock when he's home from college. And so my perspective in conversations with him was pretty funny. But he gives me an interesting insight into someone who's never been in healthcare and walks in and has to figure out how to do it. And he's like, of course, he's a guy, so they're kind of, sometimes we're oblivious to things, but, he does a pretty good job. Oh, okay, so we're going to talk about some of your risk. And standard precautions is a concept that you treat everybody the same and take a basic level of precautions, and so you're always protected. And then just to mention some of the patients who are on special isolation that you probably, want to avoid later in school. So, and again, protect yourself. We're going to talk about a lot of things just really briefly. So if anybody likes microbiology, anybody had any courses in college, microbiology or like infectious disease, like you sit around and think about gross infections that create havoc in people. If you are, this is ideal for you. That's what I enjoy. The woes of society are a lot of fun if you like to do microbiology and infectious disease. Because I didn't give it to them, I just get to diagnose it and help them with it. So it's all fun. Okay, so fun with infections. That's what we're going to talk about. Okay. All right. I do need to go over some basic things. Y'all know, you may not know this bloodborne pathogens, but you know that HIV causes AIDS, right? HIV causes AIDS. Hepatitis B causes a liver infection. It's transmitted, hepatitis B is transmitted the same way as HIV, and it causes acute and chronic hepatitis. If your urine looks like Coca-Cola, that's not normal. Okay? So if you become jaundiced, if the whites of your eyes are no longer white or yellow, that's liver, that can be liver disease. So hepatitis B can be acquired the same way as HIV. Hepatitis C causes chronic infection in 3 out of every 4 people who are infected. And so the mechanisms of transmission are slightly different. It's more like blood products, or it can also be the same routes, but it's a little bit different than Hep B and HIV, but it is similar. All of these are the bloodborne pathogens, and that if you work with patients, even though you may not be drawing blood, you could be stuck with a dirty needle that's left somewhere. So, it can be in your environment, and you need to be aware of that. How can you be infected on the job? If you get a splash of body fluid in your face, broken skin, a cut, a rash, you can be infected. Or if you're stuck with a dirty shark, and in your profession, you should not be using dirty sharks, right? You don't know that yet, but you really should. But there can be one left in your environment and you get stuck. So, and that's your biggest risk of acquiring these viruses. The risk for HIV is really low in the healthcare setting. For hepatitis C, it's higher, 2 out of every 100 healthcare workers that are sick or infected. For hepatitis B, it's really, really high. So hopefully you've all had your Hep B vaccinations. It's a very effective vaccine. And so it's a childhood vaccine, so it's really, really safe. So don't think, and I always have to say this, in the healthcare setting, HIV, for healthcare workers that are exposed, 3 out of 1,000 become infected. Okay? But that's not the case out in the real world. So don't walk out of here thinking that it's hard to catch HIV. The other mechanisms of transmission don't happen in healthcare. Okay? Sexual transmission, IV drug abuse, those things don't happen here. So, but it is very easy to acquire HIV by those routes out in the world. So, we're Baptists, they don't do those things. So, again, the vaccine is very effective, and hopefully you all have that. So, bloodborne pathogens. And your risk there would be a dirty shark that's been left in your environment and gets stuck. Hopefully that'll never happen. It does, but hopefully it won't. Switching gears, there's another type of infection you may or may not know about. It's called tuberculosis. And we have 80 or 90 cases a year in the state of Arkansas, which isn't a huge number, whereas we may have 20, 40, 50,000 cases of flu, but we have 80 or 90 cases of tuberculosis. It has a very long incubation period. It can be up to decades. You could be infected now and not have disease until your my age. And we won't even talk about my age. It presents as a lung infection, and it used to be in the Middle Ages called consumption. And so eventually you die of tuberculosis if you're not treated most of the time. These are some symptoms of TB. Chronic cough, blood distributed, night sweats, weight loss, and I think there's a question on your chest, post-test, just FYI. Did y'all get all those? Oh, do that. Okay, sorry. So, tuberculosis, and the deal about tuberculosis is that it's airborne. If your first speaker had tuberculosis, they coughed into the air, you could be infected by breathing the air down. That's an airborne disease. And so, in your setting, you should not be exposed to people with possible tuberculosis. But I can't 100% guarantee that. But typically, by the time you have access to that patient, you would know that, and you would not be dealing with it until they're not infectious. Flu, you will be exposed to flu, just like you're exposed to flu every winter. It's transmitted by a different route. It's transmitted by large droplets that people cough out, but they fall to the floor within 3 foot. It's not an airborne disease. So if you're around someone, you're suspicious that they have the flu at a restaurant, just take a big step back. Just stay out of their cough path. And you can also be infected by touching surfaces that they coughed on or they touched. So touching the surface, touching your face, you can be infected. So if you have a bad habit of rubbing your eyes or nose, which I rub my eyes all the time, don't do it. Especially doing, respiratory viruses. So you can be infected that way. You will receive the influenza vaccine this fall unless you have a medical or religious qualifying condition. It's a condition of participation in our schools and in our hospitals, period. So the flu vaccine is a part of us and pretty much every other large healthcare system in Central Arkansas. It's just an expectation that you get your flu vaccine. I don't want to talk about pandemics, although how many of y'all have lived through a flu pandemic? Let's just test your core knowledge. Anybody?
Was it swine flu pandemic? Yeah.
What's that?
Was swine flu pandemic?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Very
So,
good.
yeah. That
That would be the one. I've lived through 3. Although one, I was in high school, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, dude, so, and swine flu wasn't the irony is that vaccine, although it was a pandemic, and pandemic means it, in fact, it basically is all continents in the world. Brand new virus never seen before, and infection spread all over the world. That's a pandemic. The irony is this flu was less pathogenic or less able to cause disease than the circulating strains from the previous year that were not pandemic. The unfortunate thing is it targeted pregnant females and young kids. And so there was a higher death rate in that group. But for my age was not at risk because there was some cross protection for my age group. It was less, if you're greater than 60 years of age, you were more protected. So that's a pandemic. We don't talk about that. Let's just get all that. What tends to happen? Our typical flu season starts after Thanksgiving and runs through early March. And so you've got Thanksgiving break, everybody goes to see grandma over Christmas, everybody shares their viruses and their secretions and their slobber. And then everybody gets sick and comes back, and we're sick January, February, gets better by spring break, it usually starts to roll. So that's the classic flu season in the state of Arkansas. Last year was different, it got pushed forward, in that it really didn't start until after Christmas, like in February, and ended in April, but it's a really, really mild flu season. Even though it was mild, I don't remember the death count, we still had X number of people died from the flu. And so a lot of people did get sick, even though it was a mild flu season. So, flu is a risk to you because the big deal is I can walk up and you can take care of me today, and I'm crazy infectious for the flu, but I'm not symptomatic until tomorrow or tonight. So I can make you sick today, and that's very typical of viruses. You're most infectious right before onset of symptoms, and you don't know I have the flu. So, how do you protect yourself against people like that? Well, stand with the doctors. Antibiotic-resistant bacteria, there's all sorts of pathogenic bacteria in wounds, sputum, all sorts of infections are caused by things like staph. And all of you have had a staph infection in your life at some time. Very common, causes little wound infections, cuts, things like that. And then we have versions of those that are resistant to antibiotics. And those typically are in isolation. They'll be in isolation If that's not enough to worry about, bioterrorism, ISIL, all those things, you know, what's really funny is a lot of the agents that they would use, for the first 24 hours, they all look like the flu. So if you have a flu outbreak or increase in January, you don't think anything of it. If you have it in July, you do. So that's actually something that we actively monitor our ERs for a change in those cases. You know, we didn't used to do that. We've done it probably for the last decade. Plague, anthrax, viral hemorrhagic fevers, Ebola is a hemorrhagic fever, smallpox. These are all things that if you're a microbiology geek or something, you know, when I was in school, we studied these. Okay, first of all, okay, we'll play with this. Okay, what decade did I finish college? Did I finish college? That's assuming I graduated. What decade did I finish college?
60s.
I was thinking 80s.
80s?
I was thinking
I like you. I like you said
70s?
I was thinking
late
70s.
70s.
Early 70s. Early 70s is right. So y'all have me bracketed. Yeah, okay, you have me bracketed. Whoever said 80, you would move to the front of the room, you get an A, you're done. 60s, you're out of here. So, right. We studied these because they were, for historical reasons, they're incredibly interesting. Things like the plague and smallpox changed the course of history in Europe in the Middle Ages. I don't know if you're into history, but it changed everything. And so, you know, we studied them really for historical interest more than anything else. Now, we have standing orders to prophylax you for the plague, signed by a physician. And we have antibiotics in reserve to do it. We can do it within a couple hours. So the world has changed. So the bad news is that you work in a hospital. The good news is that you work in a hospital. Because Walmart didn't have that. Actually, they probably do. They have everything. You know, but they have everything. But you know, the good news is that you work in a hospital, and anytime there's something like an emerging disease or bioterrorism, hospitals are the first priority. So they're taken care of first. Because if you don't have a hospital, you don't have anything. So you're in a good place. And then there's emerging diseases, and you know, it's real funny that I did this photo because this was back during an outbreak of disease maybe a decade ago called SARS. And people, especially Oriental folks, they still do that. They wear face masks a lot. It's part of their culture. It's acceptable, you know, it seems to be just walk around in public with a face mask on. You got to do it right. This guy's mask is upside down, so it doesn't work. So the idea here is, if you're going to do something, you need to do it for a reason, and you need to do it right. Or don't do it. So he just, it's a feel good. It's a feel good. So we don't do things unless there's a reason for it. Or we don't ask you to do something unless there's a reason. I don't want to talk about all this stuff. So, bottom line. That's depressing. You still sure you want to look at it? All right, let's go. The concept of standard precautions is that you treat everybody as though they have HIV. You know, everybody you care for is HIV, because guess what? We don't tell you if someone has HIV, because we want you to treat everybody as though they have HIV. Now, does that mean you treat them all like others? No. No. But you use the same minimum level of precautions for every single person. Now, there are certain things you don't do. One of those, you don't stick yourself with a dirty shark. You don't let their body fluid splash in your face and on your body. Okay? That's as straightforward as I can tell you. We're going to talk about some components of standard precautions. Hand hygiene. You know, your mom was right. You got to wash your hands. It's the most important thing you can do to protect yourself from really all of the things that we talked about. And there's a couple of ways you can do it. You don't have to look at that. I like being able to just fix stuff. Okay. It's always okay to wash your hands. You know, it's always appropriate to wash your hands where you scrub for 15 seconds with the soap, rinse your hands off, get a paper towel, dry your hands, turn off the faucet so you don't recontaminate yourself. That's always appropriate. But most of the time, unless your hands are visibly soiled, you can use an alcohol product, which is really, really quick and really, really good. But if your hands are visibly soiled, you need to wash them. Okay? Now, so what is that to protect you from? Pathogenic bacteria. If you touch a patient and they have staph on their skin or their, hands or on the surface they've been sitting on. If you wash your hands or do hand hygiene before you touch your face, you're not going to infect yourself. Just by being on your hands doesn't mean you're infected. If you do hand hygiene before you touch your eyes and you've taken care of a flu patient, you're not going to catch the flu. So hand hygiene is really, really, really important. Even though it sounds kind of, hand hygiene. It's the biggest, most important thing that all healthcare workers can do. We have to get this, let's get that, again, unless your hands are visibly soiled, it's a good idea when before you go to potty, after you go to potty, before you go home, wash your hands. And do that really good 15-second hand wash. But pretty much the rest of the time you can use the alcohol products. You get a squirt on your hands, in about 20-25 seconds, you rub it all around your fingers, all over your surfaces of your hand. Your hands are dry and you're ready to take care of a patient. We want you to do that before you touch the patient. We want you to do it after you touch the patient. So you're protecting the patient in case you touch something dirty in between patients. So we want the patient to see you decontaminating your hands so they know you're clean. And then after you're done, you want to decontaminate them to get rid of all the stuff you might have picked up from the patient. Now, if you're going to touch something that's wet and it's not yours, well, that's the rule, you need to wear gloves. So if you're going to touch, if your patient has a Foley bag and you're going to touch it, you need to have a pair of gloves on. If for some reason there's blood or sputum on the patient, then you're going to need to wear gloves so you don't touch that. Or you may need to have a gown on so you don't get it on your clothes. So that's the second part of standard precautions, is putting a barrier between yourself and that patient if there's body fluids present or a risk present. And your educators will coach you about how to do this. Most of the time that will not be an issue. Routinely wearing gloves just to touch a patient is not necessary. Okay? There's nothing, the gloves are for your protection, but if you're simply touching a patient's skin or their clothes, gloves are not necessary unless there's a chance of you touching body fluids. Okay? Because gloves actually transmit bugs more readily than your hands. So wear gloves, wear a gown, wear whatever they tell you to do. And that's a barrier between yourself and that patient and that body fluid. So it's all about the yuck. It's all about the yucky, slimy stuff. You don't want that on you. We'll just get that. To do proper hand hygiene, you have to do all these things. You can't have those fake fingernails and be in healthcare. You can't. I can grow trees from under those. So you can't have fake fingernails. We do provide hand lotion that doesn't mess up our soaps, because if you use your hand lotion from home, it may interfere with our soap, just the chemicals in your hand lotion. And of course, as part of standard precautions, you don't eat and drink around your patients, because you can be infected if you touch a patient, or you get touched through yuck and touch your drink, you can be infected, and vice versa, you can transmit your stuff. Besides the fact that it's not professional. And we kind of talked about PPE a little bit. This is Bruce, he works in the Brock lab where they stick tubes down people's airways all day long and people constantly cough all over him. So he's protected, gloves, he's got the gloves going on, he's got a impervious gown, he's got a face mask and shield. So he's pretty much protected from secretions and people coughing on him. That's what he needs. You shouldn't go and look like that. But you might, there might be a case where you would, but that would be extreme. These people that you would need this for are not very good candidates for occupational therapy. And your educators and coordinators will show you where your gloves and stuff are. If you do have an exposure, if you do have some sort of body fluid splash or a needle stick from a dirty shark, contact your student coordinator and they will arrange to have the source patient tested to make sure they don't have one of those big viruses. And, the big thing about that is don't wait. If you have an exposure today, right now, tell your student coordinator. For HIV, from the time you have a needle stick till we get the lab testing, till we provide the drugs, we want it to be no more than 4 hours. So don't wait. So we want to kill the virus before it infects the white cells and starts making babies. And so don't wait. We're going to talk about that. There will be patients who are on special precautions called transmission-based precautions, where we have to do a lot of special things. Gown, gloves, maybe would be what probably be needed to care for these patients. Your coordinators will coach you how to do this, and for the most part, these are not patients you're going to be taking care of, during your school time. You may be taking care of some contact precautions, but not the others. So they may have you put on gown and gloves to go into the room or to have contact with the patient. And they will coach you how to take those off so that you don't contaminate yourself while you're taking off your PPE. So let's just get that. There are no resources on EmployeeNet. If you go, I don't know if you'll be shown how to use this under policies and pest control, and it will go over all these things. So, okay, any questions? Okay, real quickly, let's go through the post-test. Number one, specific actions I can take to reduce infections are all of the above. The 3 ways of being infected with bloodborne pathogens on the job include B, C, and D. The name of the infectious disease policy used for all patient contact is standard. After an exposure to blood or body substances, healthcare workers should report the exposure to student coordinator. I'd tell my mom to. Use of sharp safety devices, all the above, and you really shouldn't be using these. Personal protective equipment is all the above. You can do that. Most important means of preventing infections is what? Hand hygiene. 3 common bloodborne pathogens are HIV, Hep B, Hep C. 4 symptoms of tuberculosis.
So it's fever, weakness, and chronic.
That's it. Okay, thank you all very much. You'll need to hang on to these and give them to your coordinator. So, rousing notes to finish. I'll turn it over to the security man here. Unless he's going to take care of me. No. Which is always fine. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Who's running y'all's orientation?
Karen James.
Karen James, she just stepped out, or is she?
Yeah, they've been moving in and out of the room, so
I guess I can knock mine out real quick. Hi, my name's Clayton. I'm the security guy for the school. I cover daytimes. James Jester covers nighttimes. My spell's pretty quick. There was supposed to be a high representative from my department to come in and do an active shooter class with everybody. They do it with every orientation, but she's not here. I was just told about this about 5 minutes ago, so I came back from the parking lot. You see the security vehicle patrolling around the parking lot, whizzing around or sitting in one spot for very long. That's me or Jester. If you have any security concerns, feel free to voice them up to your higher up or to me directly. If you need like a tire inflate, I can help you out with that, jump start your battery. If you have any domestic issues that happen to spill over onto the school, please let somebody know, because we can't actively help you unless you let us know something's going on. Some policies for the school: obviously you can't smoke here, can't smoke any bad property, but don't go out to the sidewalk and do that, because they'll make me go out there with the cell phone, take your photograph and bring it back in. They've done it before and I don't like doing it. I don't want to have to be the douche, you know, but they make me do it sometimes. For OSHA reasons, I can't actually change your tire. I'm supposed to tell you that. I can't actually change the tire for you, so don't ask me to do that. Some other things, obviously you can't smoke here. If you're at nighttime, try to travel in groups. Don't leave like sensitive items in your vehicle. Try to keep them covered up. If you have a trunk, try to leave them in there. Always make sure you lock your vehicle when you leave it. Don't walk around with a whole bunch of sensitive items carried on you. Try to keep them in your backpack. Also, this is not a campus where you can carry concealed weapons. It's posted at the entrances, so don't carry them in here. If you happen to have, don't say anything about it. Just on your next break, go back out to your vehicle, leave it in there. Don't bring it the next day. Anything else you need to cover?
Active shooter, do you do active shooter?
Okay.
We can talk about that. So, touched on speeding.
Oh, obviously that.
Yeah.
For speeding, obviously, I can't have to write tickets. They're about $40 or so for all your regular infractions. So don't do any of that stuff. Don't run stop signs. Don't speed recklessly. I don't have a little device to measure your speed, but obviously, if your wheels come off the pavement, you're going too fast. If you see me out in the middle of the parking lot, please make a concentrated effort not to hit me, because a lot of people seem to think I blend in well with pavement. So please, especially if you see my vehicle parked, I will be parked in irregular patterns occasionally. I don't necessarily park in parking spots. I have to be with the best vantage point to see the entire lot. I'm not out there just to look pretty, even though majority of my job is to deter it, but I'm trying to keep an eye on things. So if I'm parked irregularly, please don't park right in front of me. A lot of people do that too for some reason. So, but if you want to park near my vehicle, that's okay. I mean, a lot of people think they're safer that way. That's cool. So I have no problem with that.
It might not be there all day though.
It might not be there all day. I try to move around as best I can, but I try to don't keep regular patterns. My number, 501 519-1282. That's the work cell phone I carry with me. As long as the school is open, there will be security here with that cell phone. So whatever reason, regardless of how ridiculous it sounds, it's better to ask the question than not ask the question. So somebody will have that number on them at all times. If you can't reach us on that number, for whatever reason, if it gets broken and we don't know about it, call the 2700 number. That's the main line, and they'll call us over our radios. Anybody have any questions? All right.
We have security from 6 to 11, is that correct?
6 to around 11, 10:30 would be
10:30-ish?
when he actually heads out. But
Yeah.
if somebody has to stay over later for whatever reason, he can usually extend that time and he'll stick with you. Especially if there's anything actively that he's doing with you. Like if you're got a class that extended way, way, way longer, if your car's broken down, you have to wait for your ride to come pick you up. He can usually work with you on that. And if we have to come in exceptionally earlier, if you have to come in exceptionally earlier, usually the building's going to be locked up, but if you get inside, keep that in mind, that security won't be here until about 6 o'clock in the morning. So,
Your badge should not open any door before 6.
Yeah.
So just FYI.
Any questions?
Clayton, you talk about what, I don't know, you may have covered this before, but like if they lock their keys in their car.
If you lock your keys in your car,
Tire.
yeah, I covered on those two steps. But if you lock the keys in your car, there are some options available to us. We have a locksmith for security, but he's over at the main campus. The problem with that is he's also the locksmith for the Conway, Malvern, every single Baptist facility. He's also the locksmith for that. So getting a hold of him and trying to get him free is extremely problematic. If he's not doing anything else, or he's not actively on something else, I can get all of him and come over to unlock your car. If not, I can unlock your car, but you're not gonna like how I do it. AKA, I got a big rock. So I'm not actually allowed to do it. I have done it in the past, but I've gotten in trouble for doing it, so I'm not allowed. So I have a locksmith, the cheapest one that's in Little Rock, that I can call, and he's pretty readily available. It's about $50, sometimes less. If it's an emergency, obviously if you have a child in the car, he can come out and do it for free, or you can call the fire department. I would not recommend that because they will get extremely mad at you too. So, yeah, if you need it unlocked, give me a call. We'll figure something out.
But yeah, he's a one-man show, so he cannot watch the entire campus at all times. So please, the valuables, it happens every year. They run in for a test, think they're only gone an hour, and they leave their purse or something in the back seat. It's gotten broken into. So please know that don't ever, we have lockers available, so we've got places for you to put them if you can't take them into the classroom. But you know, he's a one-man show and he controls the whole campus. So just make sure you're vigilant about making sure there's nothing in your car and that kind of thing.
There are cameras that have good vantage point of the entire parking lot, but accidents do happen. If you get into an accident in the parking lot, call somebody. We can usually officiate. We have to do instant reports for our own purposes, for insurance purposes for the school. If you need LRPD to come out, you don't have to have us there to do that, but we would please call us. That way we can come and officiate, because sometimes members get heated.
Well, I don't like to pull out and see LRPD on our campus and he might even know about it.
Yeah, that happens occasionally too.
Yeah.
Police will come up and ask me what happened, and I'm like, nobody informed me of this, and I have to play the catch-up game. If you see suspicious activity on the school campus, let somebody know about that immediately. I have to run a lot of people off because there's a lot of, well, especially on that back alley, a lot of people like to camp back there. I've had to run them off in the woods sometimes too. Oh, the little driveway that goes by the dealership behind the main campus, don't think that you can go back there and get your business on. I have to run people off for that too, because LRPD likes to stop me and say, hey, you know, you've got a couple of students back there with their clothes off. I'm like, yeah, okay. So please don't do that. I have to bring that up, so.
Just stay on the road.
Yeah,
If
just
you're
stay.
going to Sonic, stay on the road.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
Any questions on that?
All right.
All right, I'm going to expand on a little bit of security. We are under regulations by the federal government under the Cleary Act. Have any of y'all heard of that? What it is Jean Cleary was a college student in 1986, and she was murdered in her dorm room. There was a door propped open to the dorm, and somebody got in and got into her dorm room and murdered her. And so from then on, her parents worked really hard to pass the Jean Cleary Act. And so what that is requires campuses to report certain crimes, homicides, sexual offenses, robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft, and arson. Additional things that we have to report are drug law violations, liquor law violations, and weapons law violations. So we have to create and maintain a campus security report every year. It's available on our website, and what that does is anybody that is thinking about coming here or is already here and just wants to know, can look up our crime statistics for the last 3 years. It's for this campus, the area surrounding this campus, and any of our campuses that are like where you would do clinical, any of our facilities where you would go to clinical that are Baptist owned. So you would know the crime rates at those areas. If you have any questions about that, that's on our website, and you can ask me. That has to be done by October of every year. So in 2013, they added some additional crimes, domestic violence, dating violence, and stalking. And so what that is, any of those crimes have to be reported. One of the biggest ones we see here, I'll tell you, is domestic violence. And, you know, a lot of times it's just simply seeing a bruise on somebody and a friend or a teacher, hey, everything okay? You know, and sometimes the student will say yes, and sometimes they'll say no. And what happens then is that the faculty member or somebody would let me know, and then we start working with the student just to try to make sure they are completely safe on campus. We would get any kind of identification of the person that's been committing the act and just make sure that they're safe here, safe in their clinical situation, and get some resources for them that they may need, get them some help. It is a completely separate from academics. It doesn't impact, academics will never know about it unless we have to make some kind of an arrangement or situation in class or something like that. And that's a very rare, but so it's very private. It's not shared with anybody else unless need be. We do have they seen Dr. Coleman? Okay, so Dr. Coleman is our academic and spiritual counselor, so we would also refer you to her, and she would help with any kind of emotional support that you may need as well. Let's see here. Those are the sexual violence crimes are part of Title IX. And so I would be your Title IX coordinator, so I would be your contact if you have any of those kind of questions. I didn't even introduce myself. I am Jamie Clark, and I am the coordinator of campus and financial services. So I take care of the campus, the facilities, I work with security, and I handle all the finances here at the school. So a lot of hats. But I will be your Title IX coordinator, and that you can report it to me or you can report it to somebody else that you feel comfortable with, and they have an obligation to report it to me. So just so you know, they're considered responsible employees and they're required to report it to me. So just FYI on that. Let's see here. We also, a little bit, I'm sure y'all heard of active shooters on campus. So what there is a mantra that comes with that called get out, hide out, take out. And so what that is in the event of an active shooter on campus, you would get out if possible. If you are not able to get out of the classroom or wherever you are, you hide out. And what that means is you turn off every light, you lock the doors if you can, turn your cell phones off, because the least bit of light coming on a cell phone can, give away your whereabouts. So basically you want to make a room look empty. Barricade yourself if you need to, and just make sure you take precautions to stay hidden as long as you can. Law enforcement, when they enter, their first goal is to take out the perpetrator. So make sure that you're staying as quiet. You come out when they're ready. You come out with your hands up, not argumentative. You do all that kind of stuff. And if you cannot hide out and you feel like you are capable, you may want to take out. And what that means is you would get with a group maybe, or if you're feeling really muscular that day, you just try to take out the person. However, by whatever means possible, chairs, whatever you can do, gang up on them and all that. But that's the get out, hide out, take out. And I think there's a video of that that we could probably get you guys to watch if you wanted to in your time. I've been here 11 years, never had that happen. I've never been involved in it. So We are a pretty safe campus. We do have occasional break-ins, but unfortunately, there's a purse in the car. Don't leave your bags around. You cannot leave bags in the hallways because that considers suspicious. We have to call the bomb squad. So let's try not to leave our bags unattended. Are there any questions?
I do have one question, and it doesn't pertain. Are you going to be around here for the, I had left you a voicemail yesterday about my account,
Okay.
and I know you sent out an email about it not showing on our accounts that everything had been paid, so.
You got an email yesterday?
No.
Okay.
I called and left you a voicemail yesterday
Okay.
because my account here is still showing that nothing's been paid.
That's an excellent question. Excellent question. Okay. So I'm switching my hat. We're done with security? No more questions? No, that's okay.
I just wanted to make sure you
No,
were going to be
I'm glad
around
you
where I
brought-
could catch you with it
I'm glad you
later.
brought that up because everybody needs to know this. Okay, so my finance side. Our OTA students, so that you are not paying two different schools. Because your degree will be through Pulaski Tech. You may or may not be taking any classes at Pulaski Tech, as far as your gen eds, but Pulaski Tech is who owns you guys as a student. So what happens is that we put charges on our account here, so you'll already have charges here. And you may or may not have charges, I guess you will have charges at Pulaski Tech. Because what they're going to do is they're going to charge you for the Pulaski Tech side of the OTA program. And what happens then is after the 11th Class A and the enrollment is solidified, what we will do is we bill Pulaski Tech for the portion that you see on your account here. So we will bill Pulaski Tech, and once we get that money from Pulaski Tech, we'll put it on your account and pay it. So you're only paying Pulaski Tech. You should never, ever, ever pay Baptist tuition. The only thing you will pay Baptist, there's a $50 lab fee in the spring, and I think the fall, and then in the spring that you graduate, there'll be a $150 special events fee, which is your graduation fee. So those would be the only fees you pay to Baptist. You pay the $100 to get here. You'll pay $50 in the spring, you'll pay $50 in the fall for another lab fee, and then you'll pay the $150 in the following spring. Other than that, the $2,000 and all that you see on your account, we take care of that. Y'all don't do anything. If you got a Baptist Health Foundation scholarship, we have to wait until y'all are in school 11 days, and we send that money to Pulaski Tech, so they will not recognize it as there until we send it. So just know that you won't get credit for that until we actually send the money. And we don't send money until after you guys have been here 11 days.
So we don't need to worry about fees on our account the day of school starts? Okay.
You just need to make sure you've taken care of your account at Pulaski Tech.
Okay.
So as long as it shows that your grant has been awarded, as long as it shows the awards, then it's.
All of that should be at Pulaski Tech.
Right.
Yes, yes.
So as long as it shows awards, even if it still shows the balance, those
Yeah,
awards
'cause you
will be
have two different
applied.
accounts. You have a Baptist Health account, and then you have a Pulaski Tech account.
And we just need to worry
So
about
your Baptist, that's exactly right. You just worry about your Pulaski Tech. Because we will taking care of your Baptist amount this semester. Now, next semester, you'll need to come in and pay the $50, because Pulaski Tech won't collect that for us. So that is paid just straight to us. But the majority of all of your balances will always be us taking care of it with Pulaski Tech. So that's a very good question.
So if it shows that awards are there, but Pulaski Tech still shows a balance, there's a problem.
Yes, you shouldn't
Okay.
get any money here.
Alright.
There should not be any grants or loans. The only thing you would get here would be a scholarship.
No, I'm talking about my Pulaski Tech. It shows my grant has been awarded, but it still shows a balance at Pulaski
I don't
Tech.
think they pay it till like 10 days.
Well, you're,
Okay.
we have the same system. We have the same system. We both use POIS. So what you would see is your charges,
Uh-huh,
and you should see estimated financial aid,
uh-huh.
and then you should see a balance.
and the balance is anything that's left over that I might have.
If it has a CR after it, that means that's a refund check coming to you.
Okay.
If it doesn't, that means you still owe a little bit.
Okay.
So you would need to take care of that.
Let me see where I am. And it's,
Is it through the state?
yes.
Okay.
Well, if you want to go
I
to
think they don't
the
agree.
LRC and print off your Pulaski Tech bill, you can bring it to me and we can look at it.
Okay.
I'd be happy to do that.
I'll go back and double check. I may have been reading that wrong.
You gotta award that money to after school starts to make sure that you're in class.
Everything should
People
stay,
read about that
everything
grant
should be
and-
estimated. Whatever you're awarded should say estimated, because it's waiting on you to be in class a certain amount of time, and then we start putting it on their account, dispersing accounts. Yes, sir.
I have a similar problem there. Okay, so I had to appeal for financial aid.
Yeah.
And so I got the letter in the mail saying that I was approved for it, but when I go onto Pulaski Tech, it says that I have no award. So what is that?
You'll have to check on Pulaski Tech. Are they gonna be here today? Or at some point?
They're not scheduled to come in here, but I can talk to Benjamin Kuchar about that, y'all. He's his title is Director of Allied Health Affiliations at Pulaski Tech, but he has an office on this campus. He's not here all the time, but he does have an office here. And so I really appreciate everything Jamie has told you, that all those financial aid questions actually need to go through Pulaski Tech. Because we run into this quite frequently with
The hours and
letters
stuff,
hours
yeah, it's the
the
appeal
holds
reason.
and all of that. And so, correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't do anything with any of that, so.
I'd be happy to look at your bill and help you if you need it, but as far as financial aid, yeah.
Yeah.
No, you shouldn't have anything, you should not have any financial aid on your Baptist health bill, because you are considered a Pulaski Tech student.
So if you're having those issues, if you'll let me know, and then we'll get you in touch with
Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that just grab that money and go to class. So they have to wait a certain amount of days before it's actually awarded, but Pulaski Tech knows that you've been approved.
Yeah, just make sure you get stay in touch with Pulaski Tech and they don't drop you or anything. But yeah.
Terrible.
So, I do know that Friday I have to have, they will probably start dropping Friday, because I don't know when your payday is for Pulaski Tech. Yeah, so they'll probably drop Monday. So make sure you've gotten what you need to do by Monday. And I'm happy to look at anybody's bill. You should be able to print. At our LRC, you have unlimited printing. I think you have to use your student ID to get to the, when you're on the computer in LRC, you just put in, it'll pop up a box and you put in your student ID, and it'll send it to the printer. You can copy on those printers in there. There's also 2 computers in our student center that are networked to a copier, do the same thing. So there's that option as well. Let's see. Anything else? We have, every now and then we have popcorn days. Those are exciting. We have a popcorn that, we have our own little popcorn machine that has paid for itself. And we have little toppings to go on the popcorn. Those are fun days. We have a student appreciation event in October that's always fun, and lots of giveaways. And I think we're doing hamburgers and hot dogs this year. So we enjoy having you guys on campus, and look forward to serving you how we can. You guys are always a little different just because of the nature of your relationship with Pulaski Tech, but I'm always available. Ms. James will let you know or let me know if I need to talk again or anything like that. But as far as that, I'm good. Are you guys good? All right. Well, congratulations and welcome to Baptist Health College. We're glad you're here. You're welcome. You have a good day.
Okay, we're a few minutes early, but we're at break time, so I'll let y'all take a break. And why don't we come back about 9:35, just give you 15 minutes. If you go out and go to the right and keep going towards the back of the building. You'll run into restrooms on your left, there's a canteen that's at the very end of the hall. Their hours are 7:30 to 3 most days, sometimes they close a little early on Fridays, but anyway, help yourself.
Is there gonna be someone in here to leave our stuff?
Okay, I would take, you can leave, I would take anything like purses or any electronic devices out of here.
Like, I'm sitting here,
They're terrible. But I don't. And I called and he asked if it was like, they completely idiot.
They all do that.
They're not
talking to August 12th. They're gonna drop you into that free.
That's what, like, I'm not doing it because I'm feeling out and I need you to give me my management back. Like, I'm doing it because I'm gonna call my stuff and, like, so people who flunk out just wait till the day their money's due and, oh, yeah.
Okay, school, here, it says financial aid, it says you have no fall awards. But I got a letter in the mail saying
I
that.
didn't get that letter, so I'm really stressing out.
Did you turn yours in like before?
Yeah, that, okay, so I turned mine in a week ahead of time, and there was one sheet, they made me sign everything, whether it had a signature or not. And I called the lady, who was like, well, I don't know why you sent this in, you didn't even sign everything. And I was like,
Okay.
okay, and I was like, well, can you tell me I didn't sign? And she was like, every page has to be signed and every ID. And I was like, okay. And she hung up on me. So I signed everything, like top and bottom, and sent it back in. I called for 3 days on leave voicemails. And I was like, on the very last day I called, and I was like, I like have to know it's even. And she was like, well, we haven't checked the fax machine. I sent it through. She was like, well, we'll call you back if we don't have it.
Yeah, that people need to come here, because I'm not calling them.
Like, we'll call you back if we don't have it. So I sent it